Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay. We're at game number 187, game number 3 of the April 8th block. We are in Cleveland Municipal Stadium, the Mistake by the Lake, to see the Kansas City Royals taking on the Cleveland Indians. Kansas City comes to the game 12-12. Cleveland comes in 12-15. Starting pitcher matchup, Ken Schrom for the Cleveland Indians. He is 1-2 on the replay. And Mark Gubicza for the Royals. He is 2-2 on the replay. Ballpark effects in Cleveland. Singles are 1-11 for both. Home runs 1-8 for lefties and 1-11 for the right-handers. Pitcher hold. Schrom's a 0. Gubicza and the catcher Quirk combined for a +2. So guys like Brett Butler and Julio Franco and Tony Bernazard might have a better chance with that +2 going for him. We shall see. But that's why you play the game. That's why you roll the dice. You never know what the odds, despite what the odds say, you never know what's going to happen. So finishing up the warm-up tosses for the Tribe is right-hander Ken Schrom. There you see your starting lineups. Doug Frobel gets the start in right field for Cleveland tonight as Corey Snyder gets the night off. So Schrom get his numbers on the replay, his full numbers. We know he's 1-2 on the replay. His ERA is 5.34. 32 innings pitched, 34 hits, 14 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So when your walks are higher than your strikeouts, it's not really a good sign. Hello, Ben. Good to see you. Juan Beniquez will lead things off as Willie Wilson is out with an injury. So Beniquez will get that leadoff job. He's hitting .273, 2 homers, and 12 driven in. It's a 110 for Beniquez. That's a 1-3 single, and he also lines to short. That's a 12. So he lines it right where Julio Franco can get it, and there's one away. Beniquez is gone. Here's Kevin Seitzer, third baseman. Hello, Chuck. Seitzer hitting .222 in 90 at-bats. See, at .323 real world in 641 at-bats. So he's got some time to make it up, but he's off to a really sluggish start. 2 homers, 8 driven in. 2-8, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. And Franco, again, will take care of things. And there's 2 away. I am catching a break tonight. We were supposed to get really bad thunderstorms, but we just got a quick rain shower, and it looks like everything else is passing through. Actually, before the sun sets, I did see a little bit of sun. So looks like we will avoid that. Now, if I can avoid the internet debacle of Xfinity on the special weekend nights where I get the circles in the sand, if I can avoid that, we'll be off to a good night. All right, here's Danny Tartable, right fielder. He's hitting .270, 8 homers, 17 driven in. 3-7, that's a walk. 2-out walk to Tartable. Tartable will not be held. And here's the designated hitter, Thad Bosley. All right, Triple G, I've done that many, many times. I've listened to a lot of games while I've been mowing the lawn. Put my little earbuds in and turn them up all the way and drown out the sound of the mower. All right, Bosley hitting .273, 2 homers, 4 driven in. Havoc roll, nothing going on. So 6-10 to the lefties. Ground ball third base X, we're looking at Jacoby. A 4.25 for Jacoby. 4-11, he will get to it. Will it be a G2? Probably. 4-11 is actually a G3, so his only play is at first base. His error rating is a 25, so he's got to avoid 6, 8, 13, 15, and 17. Those are the 5 numbers to avoid. And that's a 12, so he gets by with it. 13 was an error, but not a 12. So that will end the inning as Jacoby takes care of Bosley. And at the end of half an inning to play, it's Kansas City nothing, and the Cleveland Indians coming to bat. On the mound, ID Jester's favorite pitcher, Mark Gubicza, or Gubicza. No, I'm not Belinda Carlisle, but I do have the beat. All right, so here is Gubicza. Gubicza is 2-2, a 3.47 earned run average, 36 innings pitched, 30 hits, 9 walks, 29 strikeouts. Brett Butler leads things off. He's hitting .452 in just 31 at bats because he was injured quite a bit in the month of April. But still, .452 is pretty impressive. No homers or runs driven in. He has stolen 3 bases. So 3-8, and as the hit parade continues for Butler, he gets another hit. And he will definitely be looking to run. Needs a 2 through 8 or a 12 to get that lead. 2 through 8 or a 12. At the 2, he will get the lead. Starts as a 15, but he holds a 13, but the +2 from Gubicza brings it back to a 15. And he's got caught stealing. Butler is thrown out by Jamie Quirk. Jamie Minute Quirk throws him out. Butler thought he had something going there, but obviously he did not. Thought he had a good lead, but Quirk had other ideas. And quickly won away. Hello, Mr. Robert. All right, here is Julio Franco. Franco, the shortstop, hitting .302, 2 homers, 14 driven in. 6'11", that's ground ball first base X. We're looking at bye-bye Balboni. He's a 4.18. 4 and a 3, it's going to get by him for a base hit. 4 and a 3 will be a single. The E18, he's got to avoid 11, 12, 14, and 17. And that is a 13 once again. So the 13 comes up quite a bit, but fortunately, he did not have 13 in his error rating. So Franco will get a single. Now, does Franco try to get the lead? He certainly will. 2 through 5 will get him the lead. Hello, Colin. 6, he will not get the lead. So Franco will hold. And here's Joe Carter. Really struggling at a .174. 3 homers, 5 driven in. It's 110, and that's a single to center field. So Gubicza is not fooling anybody. Franco will stop at second base with nobody out. 3 consecutive singles. And Gubicza has to regroup. Here's Mel Hall. Mel Hall hitting .338, 4 homers, 14 driven in. But a double play will get him out of the inning. 2-3, and that's a pop out to first base. So that'll certainly help. Out number 2 for Pat Tabler. Tabler hitting .374, 4 homers, 16 driven in. Clutch situation for Tabler, and in the clutch, he is rated as neutral. 6-8, and it's a 1-12 single. That's a 14, though. He will line it to short. Salazar makes the play, and the Royals, despite getting 3 hits, Cleveland, rather, despite getting 3 hits, comes away empty-handed. No score after 1. Schrom back out. Will face White, Jackson, and Balboni here in the top of the second. Frank White hitting .211, 3 homers, 8 driven in. 5-6, and that's a fly to right field. Hauled in out there by Frobel. 1 away. For Bo Knows, who's playing center field for the injured Willie Wilson. Jackson's hitting .258, 1 homer, 9 driven in. 1-9, and he's going to draw a base on balls. So Bo gets a walk. To get the lead, he needs a 6 or a 7. That's 10. He will not get the lead. Here's bye-bye Balboni. Hitting .178, 5 homers, 8 driven in. 2-5, and that's a ground ball third base A. It's a 5-4-3 around the horn double play to retire the side. Nothing doing there, despite the walk, as Balboni hits into the twin killing. So the bottom of the second, still no score from Cleveland. Gubicza back out. We'll be facing Doug Frobel. He only had 40 at-bats in real world, so he was not carded by Strat. but we have a computerized version. He hit 100 even in real world. This is his first at-bat of the season in the replay. But in real world, he had 40 at-bats, hit 100, but two home runs and 5 runs driven in. Gubicza 5-7, left-hander Frobel is a ground ball second base X. That's Frank White. He's a 2. 2 and a 1. It's going to get through, so Frobel will get himself a base hit. Check for an error. White is a E11, and E11 got to avoid 15, 17, and 18. And he can't do that. That's a 17. So how about that? E11 and a 17 is a 1 base error. So it's a single plus an error on Frank White. So Frobel will take second base on the E4. So White makes matters worse, allowing Frobel to get to second base with nobody out. And here's Brooke Jacoby. Jacoby on the replay hitting 380, 4 homers, 20 driven in. 1-9, and that is a ground ball to short. That's going to freeze Frobel right there. And there's 1 away. That'll take us to Tony Bernazard, second baseman. Bernazard hitting 263, 4 homers, 13 driven in. Gubicza 5-5, switcher batting left. It's ground ball second base C. That will get the runner to third base with 2 outs. But it's going to probably take a 2-out hit unless we get a pass ball or something like that. Wild pitch. He'll probably take a 2-out hit from the number 9 hitter, Rick Dempsey. Not a very good hitter. Dempsey on the replay hitting 208. He only hit 177 in real world. 1 homer, 10 driven in. Nothing on the Havoc. 2-11 for Dempsey. Ground ball to third, and Seitzer will take care of it. And Gubicza pitches around the Frank White error. At the end of 2, we got no score from Cleveland. Jamie Quirk, the catcher, will lead off for the Royals. Top of the third, Quirk on the replay hitting 244, no homers and 4 driven in. To 5-9, left-handed. Whoa, just missed a ballpark blast. 5-9 just a fly to center. And Butler will put that away easily. 1 away. For the number 9 man, Angel Salazar. Also named Argenis Salazar. I've seen it both ways. 344 on the average. 1 homer, 6 driven in. 6-7, and that's a base on balls. Second walk, actually third walk issued by Schrom. Salazar can get the lead on a 2 or a 6 through 8, but he gets caught stealing on a 10 and 11. So we'll hold Salazar and turn it over to Benitez. 3-10, and that is a ground ball pitcher A. That's going to be another double play, second double play in a row. 1-4-3, turned by the Tribe, and that's going to do it for the Royals. 2 double plays they've grounded into in 3 innings. We go to the bottom of the third, no score. Back to the top of the order for the Tribe. It'll be Brett Butler, Julio Franco, and Joe Carter. They all singled in their first trips to the plate. Butler got caught stealing, though, kind of took the starch out of the inning. Two-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11. That's a 13, though, so it's a ground ball to first. And bye-bye Balboni will take care of it. 1 away. For Julio Franco. 3-12, and that's a line out to third plus injury. So it's a possible injury on Franco. Seitzer nabs it, but a 1-4 on the D20, and he'll be able to stay in. 5 or higher, he's got to come out. So he's got to come out. Franco is done. They will have to bring in a new shortstop. Hello, Jimmy Jam. And the new shortstop is going to be Corey Snyder. He's not very good at short, but they don't have a whole lot of other alternatives. Most people on the bench are outfielders and the backup catchers, so they pretty much got to go with Corey Snyder, which is good offensively, not defensively. So Snyder, and he's a 4E48. It's a 4E48 for Snyder. So we said he lined to third, right? Is that what I said he did? So he lined it to third. But now Snyder will come in the game to play shortstop. So 2 quick outs, and here's Joe Carter. Hello, alternate. 5-4 on Gubicza is a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing after 3 complete. We still have no score. And now on the computer, I will bring in Corey Snyder to take over at shortstop for Julio Franco. So we go to the top of the 4th. It'll be Kevin Seitzer. He will lead things off against Schrom. No score, top of the 4th from Cleveland. 3-4, and it's ground ball to short. I'll tell you, put a new fielder in and the ball will find you. There you go, ground ball to short. As soon as you put a new shortstop in, the first batted ball gets hit to that shortstop. Fortunately, it was not an X chance. It was a regular play. X chance, he's going to be in trouble. Here's Tartable. 2-5, and that is a 1-8 home run, but that's a 16, so he'll settle with a double. And that is the first hit of the game for the Royals. Took them 4 innings to do it, but they finally got a hit. Lead off a 1-out double. Tartable will not be held at second. Here is Bosley, designated hitter. 5-5, and that's going to be a line out to first base. Lines it right to Joe Carter for out number 2. And it's up to Frank White to get it done. In the clutch, Frank White will lose a hit on 3-12. He is neutral everywhere else. That's a 2-8, and that's going to be good for Frank White. 1-8 to double, 9-20 is a single. That's a 1. It'll be a double, and that'll put Kansas City on the board. RBI double from Frank White, making up for the earlier error. And the Royals lead it 1-0. And here comes Bo. Oops. 1-0 Kansas City, and here's Bo. 6-11. Ground ball pitcher X, that is Schrom. He's a 10. He's a 4E10. 4 and a 17, he'll get to it, the E10. And we get, a 17. That could be problems. E10 and a 17 for a pitcher. Nope, there's no 17. There's an 18, 15, and 11, but no 17. So Schrom is able to make the play to end the inning. But the double from Frank White puts Kansas City on the board and puts them in the lead 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Gubicza back out. You will be facing Mel Hall, Pat Tabler, and Doug Frobel. Four, 6, and that's going to be a strikeout. Comes Pat Tabler. 2-8 for Tabler is a single. the wrong button on the computer. Gave him a strikeout instead of a single. Good thing we have the undo button. We can fix that. Now he's on first base. So Tabler's on first. He will not be held. And here's Doug Frobel. Gubicza to Frobel. 5-7, and that's a ground ball. Second base X. Second base is White. He's a 2-11. He's already made one error. 2 and a 5. If he's lucky, he gets a fielder's choice. 2 and a 5 is actually first place is his only play. There's a pound there, but they're not holding the runner on, so it's irrelevant. It's a G3. The runner will advance. So Tabler will take second base, but we're checking on Frank White for the E11. 15, 17, and 18. He's got to avoid those. And this time he does. So it's a good play. 4-3 ground out. 2 down. And Brooke Jacoby is your batter. Clutch situation for Jacoby. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 3-5. He loses a hit on 2-6 and 2-7. So definitely anti-clutch. 1-8, however, is a walk, and that's going to keep the inning going. That will move the baton to Tony Bernazard to keep it going. Bernazard, first time up, grounded to second base. It's a 3-3, and he's the ballpark single check. 1 to an 11. That is an 11, so it will be a single, but it's only one star. It's going to load the bases for the number 9 hitter, Rick Dempsey. So bases are loaded. Dempsey is your batter. He is neutral in the clutch. Completely neutral in the clutch. No, Jimmy, I don't have any projects going privately right now. Now, I've got my hands full with this one right here. Now, once I retire, I might do something, but I'm really more invested in concentrating all my efforts on this. 1-5, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So again, Cleveland leaves a bunch of guys on base. Might come back to bite them. It's 1-0 after 4. Nope, you don't see hockey on this channel because you look at the name of the channel, there's nothing about hockey about it. It's all about baseball all the time. Now, I do maybe experiment with some stuff, hockey and football on my own from play.com. I bought those 2 games, the express versions of both those games. I may try to learn those at some point, but primarily baseball is my passion, and that's the way I stick with it. All right, here's Balboni. He will lead off. Top of the 5th. He hit into a double play his first time. 1-8, and he's going to strike out this time. That's more typical of Balboni. That brings up Jamie Quirk. Yep, Ben, it's like the old Orville Redenbacher commercial. It said, do one thing and do it the best you can. 5-4, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. 1 to 11, that's a 19, so he's going to pop it up to second. Of course, devil's advocate would say something like, well, if you're going to do that, then just stick with Strat and don't play any other games. Just do a Strat project and not do anything else. Well, I think I can do the other ones and still not be too far off because I enjoy all the other games. The only one that I'm still working on a little bit is season ticket because I just don't play it enough. But I think between inside pitch and Strat, I've got those down pretty pat. 4-5 for Schrom is a fly to left field. 1-2-3 inning. I was expecting more runs than this, but we are in a 1-0 ball game. Definitely was expecting more runs, but we still got half a game to go, so anything can happen. Gubicza will be facing the top of the order. Butler, Snyder, and Carter. Remember, Franco got hurt in his last at bat, had to leave the game. Butler, 6'10", ground ball third base X. That's going to be Seitzer. He's a 4. 4 and a 5 probably is going to be a base hit. I imagine would be, and it is. So Seitzer now has to avoid the error. E26, he's got to avoid 10, 11, 15, and 17. And that's an 11, so he added insult to injury. He boots it. E26, there's an 11 right there. So it's going to be a single plus an error for Brett Butler. That's the second time that's happened this game. It had an error on Frank White, single and error. Now we get a single and error on Seitzer. So if Butler is at second base with nobody out, he will be held at second base. Here's Corey Snyder. He's got his first at bat since coming in for the injured Franco. He's hitting .230, 3 homers, 11 driven in. Corey Snyder. That's a 3-9, and that's a ballpark blast for Corey Snyder. 1-11. That's a 2. It's gone. So Corey Snyder making his impact. Coming in for Franco, he gets the ballpark blast on a 3-9. Ballpark blast, 3-9. It is gone. Corey Snyder. So the run is earned because the E5 had no impact on the run scoring. Would have scored from first base just as well, obviously. But home run number 4 for Corey Snyder. RBIs 12 and 13. And Cleveland, just that fast, takes a 2-1 lead on the Royals. So Corey Snyder paying dividends, at least offensively. Here's Carter, 6-7. That is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Salazar. He's a 2. 2-10, he'll get to it. E16. E16 and a 9 should be okay. E16, only 14 and 17 are errors, so good play for Salazar. And that'll send us to Mel Hall. 112, and it's a foul out to the catcher, Quirk, for out number 2. Two down for Pat Tabler. 110, and it's ground ball to short. Salazar has it. Innings over, but the 2-run home run from Corey Snyder has put Cleveland in the lead 2-1 after 5. Schrom didn't even catch it, but last inning was his fatigue inning, but he didn't give up anything, so he has full endurance going for this inning. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Beniquez, Seitzer, and Tartable. .610, and that is a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Jacoby, 4E25 for Jacoby. 4-12, he should get that. 4-12 is a G3, which is good enough with the bases empty. He's got an E25 to worry about, 6, 8, 13, 15, and 17. And that's a 12. And we said he was an E25. There's no 12. There's a 13 there, but no 12. So Jacoby ekes out that play and throws out Beniquez. 1 down. That'll bring up Kevin Seitzer. 1-9, and that's a single for Seitzer. 1-out single. Seitzer needs a 5 or a 6 to get the lead. He gets the lead with a 5. 15 being held to 13. 1-13. And he's in there. It's possible throwing error on Dempsey. His T rating. Did not put his T rating down there? I thought I did, but apparently I did not. Dempsey's T rating is a 3. So no throwing error, but it will be a stolen base for Seitzer. He gets into scoring position. Scoring position with 1 out. And Danny Tartable, your batter. So here is Schrom departable. 6-3, ground ball shortstop X. That's trouble because that is Snyder. He's a 4E48. So while he came through with the home run, they're gonna have to face the music with his defense. 4-19 though, he caught a break. How about that? 4-19 is actually a chance at a double play, but the E48 still looms large. 6, 12, 15, 3, 16, and 18 are the numbers to avoid. That is a 14. E48, there is no 14. There's a 15 and a 16, but no 14. And Corey Snyder turns the double play. I'm sorry, it's not a double play because the runner stole the base. So it's going to be a 6-3 ground out with the runner holding. So good thing we did steal the base, or it would have been a double play. So that's why you steal sometimes, just so you can avoid things like that. Even though the stealing odds aren't the best, they're good enough. All right, here's Bosley. Jimmy Jam. The only time I did not do as played is the one time I did the Demolition League, where I just made I took random teams and made a random schedule and whatnot. But if I do a game that was actually played, I play it as played. Yes, I will do injuries, but only on that day's game, not for future. All right, here's Bosley. Sights are still at second base now, 2 outs. 3-3, and it's a line out to first. Joe Carter snags it, and the inning's over. So Schrom keeps a little bit more endurance. He will pitch into the 7th at least. Although the bullpen is pretty rested. They didn't use a lot of pitchers last game, so bullpen is pretty well rested. Gubicza, his fatigue is not till the 7th, so he's definitely in good shape. 2-1 ball game here in the top, or now the bottom of the 6th. Here's Doug Frobel. 4-5, and that's a fly to center. 1 away. Frobel is out of there for Brooke Jacoby. 111 for Jacoby. That's a walk. Second walk given to Jacoby. He will not go anywhere, not be held. Hello, Philip. Here's Bernazard. 6-7, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Salazar. He's a 2E16. Remember, Jacoby's not being held on, so he keeps the full range. 2E16. 2 and a 6. 2 and a 6 is going to be a force play, G2. And then we're looking at E16 for Salazar. He's got to avoid 14 and 17, which he does. So it's going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. And Bernazard will reach. Now 2 away for Rick Dempsey. 2-6 for Dempsey is another walk. So Goob is issuing a lot of walks here in this ball game. That is, let's see, 1. Well, it's just the 3rd walk, but 2 of them become the last 3 batters. But now he's put himself in a rough position because now we flipped the order over to Brett Butler. And you got to be careful with Brett Butler. Gubicza to Butler. That's a 4-6, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. Gubicza gets out of it. We completed 6 from Cleveland. It is 2-1. Nip and tuck here at Municipal Stadium. Ken Schrom's got a little bit left in the tank, so he's coming back out for the 7th. He'll be facing White, Jackson, and Balboni here in the top of the 7th. Looking at the Cleveland bullpen, just in case Schrom starts to falter just a bit, they do have activity in their bullpen. And it appears they have old lefty Steve Carlton loosening in the bullpen, just in case. Carlton has not pitched in a while, so it's time to get him some work. Schrom, 3-5, is a ground ball to short. Snyder up to the task. One away. Here's Bo Nose. 1-5. He knows a strikeout. That's 2 away. 4. Bye-bye Balboni. 3-8, and that's a 1 for a double. Anything else, he flies to center, and that's going actually, yeah, flies to center, so that's going to end the inning. Schrom, 7 good innings, and he's still got some endurance. So, boy, you hate to take him out because he's pitching so well, but will have to be monitored because you don't want to leave him in there too long and pull a Grady Little. So, got to be careful about things like that. Gubicza has a 7 for his fatigue, so he will be starting the fatigue inning coming up, and he's going to be facing Snyder, Carter, and Hall in a 2-1 ball game here in Cleveland against the Royals. But we are at the 7th inning, so that means take me out to the ball game. So you're welcome to stand and enjoy. Take me out to the ball game. All right. We are back, and we start the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th. This is the fatigue inning for Gubicza, so the Royals do have action in their bullpen. They have left-hander Jerry Don Gleaton loosening in the pen in case Gubicza gets into trouble. It'll be Snyder, Carter, and Hall due up. Snyder hit the 2-run homer his first time up that gave Cleveland this 2-1 lead that they now enjoy. 2-9. He's going to ground it to short. 1 away. One down for Mel Hall. I'm sorry, for Joe Carter. Carter is 1 for 3. Okay, I think we're back, but I know I lost most of the audience, and I don't blame them. When I get in the sand, I didn't even see the circles in the sand until I saw Ben's comment on it. I didn't see it because I don't have the stream up on the computer. I've got the Strat computer up. Of course, when I shut down, I lost everything I put in the Strat computer, so I got to redo everything on the Strat computer once the game is over. Thank you once again, Xfinity, for your wonderful internet flow. So hopefully we're ready to get this game back to where it was. I'm trying to remember where we left off. The last thing that I did was I finished out the inning with Cleveland batting. Mel Hall flew to right to end the inning, so it's 2-1 after 7. Ben, I don't know if it conked out before I finished the inning or not, but it was basically a 1-2-3 no-nothing inning here in the bottom of the 7th for Cleveland. So we're going to the 8th, still a 2-1 ball game. Steve Carlton has sat down. Hello, midlife. Just before the start of the bottom of the seventh. Okay, well Snyder grounded to short, Carter lined to short, and Hall flew to right. So Gubicza maintains full endurance for the eighth. Ken Schrom is teetering on being tired. Carlton has long since sat down, but Ernie Macho Camacho is loosening in the Tribe bullpen just in case Schrom should falter. So hopefully now we are back to where we need to be. Jamie Quirk is your batter. Of course, we can pinch hit now because we're in the later innings. So let's see what Quirk's average is. He's 236, and he is 0 for 2. So we could get some pinch hitting coming on here from the Royals. In fact, I think it's not just a could. I think it's a guarantee. Although they just don't have a whole lot on the bench, to be honest with you. You know what? They're going to stick. Their bench is just so bad. They're going to stick with Quirk. That's how bad their bench is. They're going to stick with Quirk. They will pinch hit for Salazar because he's a 205 hitter, and they're not going to deal with that. They'll have Bill Pacoda take over and pinch hit and stay in the game to play shortstop. Actually, they're going to have Hal McRae pinch hit, and Bill Pacoda will stay in the game to play shortstop for Salazar. So we'll set that up right now with McRae pinch hitting in the eighth and Pacoda with the shortstop in the eighth. All right, first things first, Jamie Quirk. Jamie Minute Quirk, followed by Hal McRae. Top of the eighth. Still a 2-1 ball game, nip and tuck. 1-5 for Quirk, and he's going to ground it to first. Easy play for Joe Carter. And there is one away. And now the pinch hitter, Hal McRae. Get the numbers on the replay for McRae momentarily. McRae on the replay is hitting 261. Just 23 at bats. He's 6 for 23. No homers and a run driven in. So McRae looking to get something started. 4-9, and that's a fly to center. So that's 2 away. And of course, Pacoda will take over at short for the Royals. So we go to Benitez, top of the order. Ken Schrom bucking for 8 innings here. 1-5, and that's a ground ball to short. He's done it. Ken Schrom, 8 innings. Just the 1 run. Almost afraid to bring in Camacho. I'm going to try to get Schrom to complete game. He's just pitching so well. It's almost like a shame to take him out. Gubicza will stay in. We have Tabler, Frobel, and Jacoby. So that's, righties coming up. So kind of don't want to get in the way of that. That's for sure. So Tabler, Frobel, and Jacoby do for the Tribe here in the bottom of the eighth. Jerry Don Gleaton is still loosening the bullpen just in case. Tabler is 1 for 3. That's a 5-11, and that's a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11. That's a 1 base hit. Base hit for Pat Tabler. That'll bring up Frobel. That's a 5-8, and that's a 1 for a double. Anything else to be a single? That is a double, but it's 2 stars. So it's going to put runners at second and third with nobody out. And they will walk Jacoby intentionally to load the bases. They don't want to mess with Jacoby. He will walk. And now here is Tony Bernazard. And boy, Gubicza, what do you do with Gubicza? Do you take him out? He's right on the verge of being tired. You got a switch, a righty, and a lefty coming up. So the Royals will go to the bullpen. They will go to their pen for left-handed reliever Jerry Don Gleaton. So that's it for Gubicza. Jerry Don Gleaton will come on. Gubicza is going to go 7+, and we'll total him up at the end of the inning. So Jerry Don Gleaton, the lefty, will be on. On the replay, Don Gleaton he's only had 1 inning pitched. He gave up 2 runs in that inning, so his ERA is 18. 1 inning pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, which was a home run. No walks, no strikeouts. But when you only pitch 1 inning, it's kind of hard to judge anything by that. So Bernazard is your batter. Infield is in. They can't even afford to turn double play. They need to get the out at the plate. So Gleaton will make Bernazard turn around and bat right-handed. That's a 1-5, and that's a ground ball to short. The infield was in, though, so it's going to be a single through the middle. Would have been a double play had we been playing back, but when you're down 2-1 in the 8th inning, you have to play in, and they paid for it. A single for Tony Bernazard. That old plus sign comes into play. A 2-run single. Jacoby will take third base. Both those runs are charged to Gubicza. And the Tribe now lead it 4-1. Here's Rick Dempsey. Again, the infield is in. They can't afford anything else. 3-8 for Dempsey against the lefty. Struck him out. Big strikeout there. And now here's Butler, lefty on lefty. They're going to play a lot of pluses. There's a couple pluses on his card. They're going to play back for the double play. Now there's already 1 out. They'll play back for the double play. 2-9, and it's a good thing. That was a plus right there. Would have been another hit, but we played the infield for the double play this time because we were aware of these things, and it's just a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. So 2 runs come in to make it 4-1. Those runs are charged to Gubicza. So Gubicza gives up 4 runs. They're all earned in 7+ innings. Check his hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits for Gubicza. Check his walks. Well, 1 was intentional, but otherwise he had 3 walks. So 4 total walks, 1 intentional. And his strikeouts, he didn't strike that many out. 1, 2, 3, just 3 strikeouts. So not the best in the world there. That's it for Gleaton. Even if it goes to the 9th, they're going to take him out. So Gleaton goes 1 inning. He's going to give up a hit. Nothing else with a strikeout. So we go to the top of the 9th. Last chance for Kansas City. Ken Schrom back out there. Camacho is ready if needed, and so is Ed Vandenberg, a lefty. He has joined Camacho in the bullpen. Ed Vandenberg, a left-hander. Right now, Schrom, Seitzer. It's a 4-9, and that's a fly to center field, 1 away. Schrom 2 outs away from a complete game victory. Here's Danny Tartable. 2-2 for Tartable. He flies it to left, 2 down. Last chance for is Thad Bosley. Bosley is 0 for 3. 4-7, and that's a 1-4 triple. Anything else will be a single. That's a single. So now Schrom in trouble. He is tired. And now he's got to see if he can get through this game. He's got a 3-run lead, so they're going to let him try to finish. But if more runners get on base, they'll have to go to Camacho. But they're going to give Schrom an opportunity to get out of this mess and get that complete game. Schrom to White. 2-8, and that's a 1-8 double. 9-20 is a single. It'll be a single 2 stars. And now the tying run is coming to the plate in Bo Jackson. And finally, Ken Schrom will have to come out. I got this score sheet from Spokane Steve. He got it from somebody. I don't know who he got it from, but he emailed me the PDF. It's designed after Strat-O-Matic Form B, but it's much better. It gives you a lot more room and whatnot. So we try to get Schrom the complete game, but now can't take that chance any longer. Camacho will be coming on. It is now a save situation. 8 2/3 for Schrom. He's going to give up how many hits? 1, 2, 3, just 5 hits. So far, just the 1 run. He did walk a few. 1, 2, 3. 3 walks. Struck out 1, 2, just 2 strikeouts. So they put the ball in play, but he got him to hit it right to where the fielders were. So Bo Jackson is your batter. First and third, 2 outs. 4-1 ball game. Bo Jackson is the tying run at the plate. Get the numbers on Camacho for you on the replay. Camacho is 1-0 with 3 saves and a 3.86 earned run average. He has pitched in 10 games so far, gone 9 1/3 innings, given up 10 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. But now he's tasked with getting Bo Jackson. 4-1 game, but the tying run in Bo Jackson is at the plate. Camacho will do the strategy roll and then fire to Bo Jackson. It's a 4-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at, unfortunately, at Corey Snyder, who's a 4E48. 4E48. 4 and a 9 is probably going to be, well, it might be all right. It might be a G3. We'll see. 4 and a 9 is a G3 because nobody was being held on. It's a G3. And now we're looking at that E48. That's the other one that stands out. He's got to avoid 6, 12, 15, 3, 16, and 18. If he does, the game will be over on the E48. That's an 8. E48, there is no 8, and that's the ball game. So Corey Snyder up to the task. And Ernie Macho Camacho gets it done, gets Bo Jackson to end the inning and end the game. Winning pitcher is Ken Schrom. He is now 2-2. The save to Camacho, his 4th. The loss goes to Mark Gubicza. He is now 2-3 on the replay. Final line score for Cleveland, 4 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. For Kansas City, 1 run, 5 hits, and 2 errors. Cleveland improves to 13-15. Kansas City drops to 12-13. You are really late there, Brian B. But I was trying to get Schrom the complete game, but once the tying run came to the plate, I felt like, and he was tired, I felt like I had to get him out of there. So Camacho came in and got the ground ball to short, got Bo to hit to Corey Snyder, and took care of business. So Cleveland gets the victory. And the next game on the replay in Strat-O-Matic will probably be Sunday. And let's see who the game is. I think it's Baltimore at Chicago, but I'll double check it. Remember, I'm going east to west as best I can. It's either going to be Oakland at Detroit or Baltimore at Chicago. I'm trying to figure out. I'm thinking Chicago is a little more east than Detroit, but I'm looking at I'm got the map in my mind of the United States, but I'm not sure 100%. We got Milwaukee, Detroit, and Chicago. Those are the next 3 home cities. So I'm thinking Chicago would be the logical one to use. And it'll be the Baltimore Orioles and the Chicago White Sox. Mike Boddicker against Jose De Leon. That would be the next Strat-O-Matic game. And that'll be Sunday. Tomorrow at roughly noon will be the season ticket NBC game of the week from 1978. It will be the Detroit Tigers and Dave Rozema against the Boston Red Sox and Luis Tiant. Saturday evening will be the Inside Pitch 1977 game of the day, and it will take us to St. Louis where the Pittsburgh Pirates will be taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. That'll be tomorrow night sometime, roughly around 7:30, maybe 8, something like that. And then, of course, Sunday, probably in the morning, but might be in the evening. We don't know yet. Will be Baltimore and the White Sox. So that's going to do it from here. In 87, it was the Twins and Tigers that won it. In 87, St. Louis and San Francisco won it in the National League. Detroit is east of Chicago. Okay, well, if that's the case, then the next game will be Oakland at Detroit. It'll be Kurt Young against Frank Tanana. So we'll call that for Sunday. Thank you, Jimmy. We'll call that one for Sunday from Tiger Stadium. It'll be the Oakland A's and the Detroit Tigers, 2 lefties, Kurt Young and Frank Tanana. And then after that, we'll go to Chicago later in the week for the Baltimore-Chicago game. Twins did win it all, yes, absolutely, because St. Louis had a shell of their team, so it was really to me, it was almost an invalid World Series. The Cardinals didn't have Vince Coleman, they didn't have Jack Clark, and they had to use the DH. So when you're DHing with, Mr. Bat Flip himself, Mr. 180 hitter, you're in bad shape. So they didn't have Vince Coleman, they didn't have Jack Clark. So to me, and they still took them to 7 games because the Twins couldn't win in St. Louis. They had to win all their games at home. So to me, it was a tainted World Series. I thought actually the 2 best teams would have been Detroit and San Francisco. That would have been the better World Series. And then you would have had Roger Craig facing his old mates in Detroit. But that's just me. But it worked out the way it worked out for a reason. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your Friday evening. Hope you have a good weekend coming up, whatever you got planned. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.